everyone, welcome to CNBC-TV18.com and Salesforce presents Bharat Trailblazers, a series of conversations that shine the light on remarkable organizations and their business leaders to showcase their inspirational journeys. Today, the focus is on the wealth management industry. The wealth management market in India is projected to grow by 1.97% in the 4 years from what we had in 2023 and up until 2027. This will result in a market volume of around $465 billion. Let me welcome our guest on the show today. We have Santoshi Kittur joining us, the Chief Technology Officer at 360 ONE Wealth and Asset Management. This was previously IIFL Wealth Management. Santoshi, thanks a lot for joining us on the show and for taking the time. I want to begin by asking you about your own journey. So what do you think have been your big learnings over the course of your journey, and how have you seen the role of technology really evolve over the years?
Sure. Thank you, Pavitra. I think technology has been both an enabler and a disruptor over the years. All of us have seen it play that role. But I think what's been very interesting for me is it's a bit like a dance. Sometimes technology is ahead, and technology goes ahead of businesses and disrupts an entire industry. And sometimes businesses are ahead of technology, creating room for new technology. So I think it's a very interesting space where companies have to constantly be aware. And for me, the learning has been to keep watching where we are in this dance and how it impacts us and our industry and in our clients. And for me, the biggest learnings would primarily be around, number one, building simple, decoupled architecture. So design comes first. The second thing is experience, user experience. No matter how simple the automation, we have to think about user experience. And most importantly, it's not just about automating a process. End of it, process creates data. So the question is around data and where are you going to use it? What kind of decisions are you going to make with it? So these are some of the principles that I use. And the third part is always building scalable, flexible systems. The last one I would say is adoption, because at the end of the day, we can build as much technology as we want. Two factors matter the most: form and function. If you have too much form factor but no function, you won't have adoption, and vice versa. Too much functionality and no form factor, you won't have adoption.
All right, that's a very interesting way to really kickstart this and for us to, hear about what your learnings have been. Santoshi, client relationships are really at the base of this entire wealth management industry, right? And we all know, and we say this so many times, that there is no one-size-fits-all approach. It has to be tailor-made for everyone. So how do you at 360 ONE manage this? Because it's at such a huge scale. So how do you manage to tailor-make these for individual clients?
That's really a fantastic question. We serve the ultra-high net worth segment. And our focus has always been how to protect and grow our clients' wealth. So one of the key factors in such a segment, which is small in volume but huge in value, is really being able to understand them. And therefore, if you ask us, we are successful primarily because we have deep experience in wealth management. The second aspect is we understand our clients very well. We spend a lot of time understanding them, and we use technology. We use technology as an enabler for visibility and decision making.
Okay, yeah, got that. And there has to be that when you're trying to sort of grow to such a large scale as well. But let me now come to, a different question, which is on how you use technology to really be able to personalize all of these needs. Take us also through some of your marketing campaigns. Is there a certain metric that you use to understand how successful they've been?
Yes. We use Marketing Cloud primarily for campaigns and events. And it's been phenomenal because it allows us to hyper-personalize. And with a segment like this, which is a very high-value segment, knowing what you need, what each client needs, making sure we are optimal in our communication, we are very relevant, our solutions, our recommendations are meaningful, and we are not over-leveraging the channel is very critical. So that is the nature of hyper-personalization, which we are able to achieve when we use marketing platforms like Marketing Cloud. And what's very interesting is we're able to track behavior. Because we are leveraging all of these principles such as optimality, principles such as the relevant nudges, we're able to track behavior and further sharpen our communication with our clients. So it's actually quite phenomenal for us because it's high touch with digital, and you're constantly being able to read into the responses.
I'm actually going to pick up on that for my next question. You said that this is a very high-touch kind of sector, and you were mentioning earlier as well how you really need to know everything about your clients, right? There's no other way that you can tailor-make a solution for them. From a client standpoint, what do you think are the big benefits that they are getting from this?
From our being able to know more about them?
Yeah.
I think the biggest benefit that we offer our clients, one is, of course, the capability to advise them, access to markets and products that are relevant to them. In general,
which they may not even have thought about.
Yes, exactly. Because if you are not in the ultra-high net worth segment, let's say today, if you are investing like an average investor using a lot of apps, you see what the platform is offering you, right? But here, because we understand each client, their needs, where they are in their journey, we understand the markets. So it's both an outside-in perspective as well as an inside-out combination of both of these, that we're able to provide access to the right products, to the right markets at the right time, right? So I think our clients benefit hugely because it's a combination of all of this. And since we are right next to them versus waiting for them to come and tell us. So one of the things that we do is our engagement model. We have a model where our clients can co-create with us. We have a model where they can completely leave the investing decisions to us. And of course, they can make their own decisions too. So in every possible model where clients really sort of win is access, the investment expertise, nudges, recommendations, the platform itself with the ease of engaging, and decision support, which sits on top of all of this.
Okay, so that's really, it pretty much covers all of it. And like you said, your client can sort of pick which one and how much of help they really need, how much handholding they need as well. So, Santoshi, AI has really been the buzzword, right, of late, across the technology space. How are you using that within your own firm? And do you think it's already started to yield some kind of results?
So when you talk about AI, it's algorithms. Yeah. So we've always been using AI. AI has always been there. If you refer to generative AI, yes, it's something we've just started exploring. Yeah. And specific areas where we are exploring generative AI is around new ways of segmenting our client base. But what's very interesting, Pavitra, is if you look at the industry overall, as generative AI as a whole, whether it's wealth or any other sector, you'll see that more and more of the global platforms are embedding generative AI. So what helps the industry a lot is to have platforms that come pre-embedded. That's one. Yeah. And then we are, of course, doing our own exploration for very specific use cases. And when we use generative AI for code, when you put all of these things together, you got a sort of an acceleration. So it's very interesting that it's growing very fast.
So you're already seeing it?
Yes, we are already adopting what's coming from the platforms, and then we are doing our own experimentation for our use cases.
Okay, that's very interesting. This is pretty much the word we've been, getting from anyone that we speak to on AI, on just the kind of potential that they see. One final question, right? So 360 ONE is a big player in this space, right? And we've been talking about how you've grown to scale. So how do you think Salesforce has really helped and optimized process workflow across your company?
So we leverage Salesforce, both the SaaS capabilities as well as the platform capabilities. So what this means is Salesforce is our front office platform. We use it for sales and service. But we use Force.com, which is the platform capability of Salesforce, to further bring tighter capabilities, stronger capabilities on top of sales and service. So what this helps us do is build very company-specific, our process-specific capability. So that's the power of the platform. It allows you to use both platform capabilities as well as the SaaS, the best of the out-of-the-box in sales and service. And for us, the way we view Salesforce is we use it to automate our process. We use it to not just drive automation, so that's baseline, use the best practice processes, but we also use it to drive a lot of metrics on how we are servicing our clients, what has been the response time, how many times were there changes made, were these needed. So basis all of this, when you sort of put this in the frame of portfolio, how we are, so for our sales side, our front office team, when they're managing portfolios, they are able to see a 360 view of the client on Salesforce, and a lot of metrics get driven out of that. And similarly on the service side, so it helps us not just offer a platform to manage our clients better, but also to manage performance of our teams better.
All right, Santoshi, thanks a lot for taking us through this entire wealth management industry where 360 ONE is currently positioned, and the role that technology and digital transformation is really playing in reshaping this entire space. Thanks a lot for joining us.